Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Our topic is nutrition, and today let's discuss about the food processing, preservation, and the storage. In our previous video, we're discussing about the various food substances. We discussed that there are three main food substances: the carbohydrates, proteins, and the lipids. And then we further discussed about the various kinds of the carbohydrates, which are monosaccharides, disaccharides, and the polysaccharides. So today let's move on to the food processing, preservation and storage. We'll be discussing the concept of all these three. So the concept of the food processing, food preservation, and food storage, starting with the food processing. The food processing, it refers simply to all the ways in which food is treated in order to make it edible, appetizing, and safe to eat, or to keep it fresh for a long time. So food processing is just referring to all the ways, just all other various methods in which food can be made or treated, just in case in order to make it more favorable, edible, and appetizing to eat, and also just to keep it safe and fresh for a long time, so that it can be able to be consumed. Now, some of the activities that are involved in the food processing are as follows. The first one is that picking, sorting, and washing fruits and vegetables. Also cooking by boiling, steaming, roasting, this baking or frying, and also converting the raw materials into other products. For example, making the cheese from the milk or sugar from sugar cane. So I hope it's clear about the meaning of the food processing. Let's move on to the food preservation. Food preservation, it refers to specifically to all the methods or ways of food processing that are used to prevent food from spoiling or going bad, or just preventing food from decaying. So the food preservation, it just refers to all those kinds of ways or methods whereby food is kept from becoming spoiled or from going bad or just to decay. Now, methods of food preservation, they include some as follows. The first one is that keeping out microorganisms. Take an example by canning or bottling. The other one is that using high temperature to kill the microorganisms that cause the spoilage. Take an example by this pasteurization or boiling. And third one is using very low temperature to slow down the growth of the microorganism. Take an example, the refrigeration. So all these ways are just some of the methods in which food is preserved just to prevent the food from getting spoiled or decaying. The other method is irradiation, which is by using the radiations such as the gamma rays to kill the microorganisms. In this way, help to preserve the food. The fifth one is eliminating the moisture that is needed for the growth of the microorganisms, for instance, by drying, sorting, and smoking. I will discuss all of these methods uh, in deep in our next video. And last but not least, the adding chemicals such as the salt, sugar, carbon monoxide, just to prevent the physical changes in the food. So these are just various of the methods for the food preservation. Let's see the food storage. Food storage refers to the methods used to keep or preserve the food for the future use. So it refers to all those ways in which food is kept or stored just to reserve it for the future use, or that you can be able to use them by the near future. The food storage can be done on a small scale at the family level, for example, in a family general food store, so we can store the food like that, or large scale for large populations. Take an example in government stores of grains. So that's food storage. Now let's see the importance of the food processing, preservation, and storage. The following some of them. The first one prevents the wastage of food. You know that without food preservation, the food can decay. So in order to just prevent the wastage of food, just food that cannot be just wasted, we preserve the food. So in that case, it just prevents the wastage of food. The second one that saves money by preventing the spoilage of food. The processes of food processing, preservation, and storage just help to keep the food just be able to be consumable over a period of time. So it just help to save money by preventing the spoilage of food that was supposed to be eaten by certain period of time. The third one that maintains the quality of food. Food processing, preservation, and storage just keeps the quality of the food. It makes the food edible, appetizing, and ready to be eaten. And the fourth one that prevents the growth of the microorganisms that can cause illness are the various processes that are in food processing, preservation, and storage. They just help prevent the growth of these various organisms, I mean the microorganisms, that they can cause illness when they just get into the food. So the process just keeps the food fresh and healthy to be consumed. And last but not least, it helps to improve the flavor of the food. The various processes for the food processing, preservation, and storage, it just keeps the food appetizing, edible, and flavorful for the eating. So that way, it just improves the flavor of food and makes the food very nice for the eating. The sixth one is that removes harmful toxins and microorganisms from food. Some microorganisms, they can grow within a period of time. So these various processes for the food processing, preservation, and storage, they just help to remove those harmful toxins or the microorganisms from the food. The other thing that makes food available when they are not in a given season. Take an example, the process of food storage. It just keeps the food from spoilage and decay for the future use. So in that way, you can make use of the food that was maybe harvested before the given season, and in a way can be used within the next season where there's not harvesting. So I hope it's clear. Then last one that enables transportation of food, delicate and perishable foods such as the milk and fruit over long distances. So the various processes of food processing, preservation, and storage, they just help uh, facilitate the transportation of all these delicate and perishable foods, such as example milk and the fruit, which they can load or maybe they can decay in a way when they are transported to the market or to customers. So these processes, they just help to enable to keep the foods fresh and edible for the consumption. So basically everyone, that's all for this video. Discussed the concept of all these three: food preservation, processing, and storage. In our next video, I'm going to see the various methods of all these three. I hope it's clear, and thank you.